Welcome to the latest edition of Prop 5 on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. I'm Ethan Skolnick, and follow me to Ethan J. Skolnick on the 5 Reasons Sports. I got David Eversole. I got Eric Whitaker. You can follow him at Eric Whitaker, David Eversole at David W. Eversole, me at 5 Reasons Sports, or Ethan J. Skolnick. So use the code 5 at PrizePicks. It's PrizePicks.com, the Google Play Store, or the Apple App Store. This is the official fantasy partner of the 5 Reasons Sports Network, of 5 on the floor, 3 yards per carry, and the other content distribution in our network. Again, you can play across the sports spectrum. We're going to do NBA tonight, but MLB coming back soon. You're going to be able to play that. NHL, now the Four Nations is over as well. And even MLS, we've got Messi playing coming up this week. I'll actually be at the stadium on Tuesday night. All right, so we're going to get to the games tonight. NBA slate, a couple of games of note. And so I think we kind of looked at this one the most. The Denver Laker game, I think all of us had plays that we liked on that. David, I'll go to you first.
I'm looking at Jamal Murray threes at 2.5. His volume is way up recently. He's averaging 9 attempts per game over his last 4, shooting 58% from 3 over that same stretch. And I think he's going to continue that hot play. Had 7 threes in each of his last 2 games, and the volume is there. And he's making shots. Denver's offense has just been cooking lately. So I'm going to take Jamal Murray over 2.5 threes. Probably one of my favorite plays of the day.
There's been an overreaction to Jokic in a lot of these games against the Lakers. Now you don't even have Anthony Davis. And Jamal Murray has had some games, some big games in those situations. Eric, anything you like here?
So I have a couple of plays that I like here. And speaking of an overreaction to Jokic, I'm actually going to dip my toe.
Oh, I think did Eric freeze
into the first of his. Yep. Yes. As I was saying, I'm dipping my toes here into the first quarter, and I'm going to go over 9.5 points. Okay. He's averaging 10.5 over his last 23 games. And as you mentioned, no Anthony Davis. I think Jokic ends up setting the tone here for Denver early, getting some buckets. And then my other play for this game here is actually going to be Austin Reeves rebounds and assists. You go back to Christmas, pretty much his last 25 games, he's gone over this 18 out of his last 25. So he's hitting it, pretty much a 70% clip on this number. So I like Austin Reeves to go over this one pretty comfortably as well today.
All right, a couple of plays. I think we're all looking at overs today. I like to me, I like Michael Porter Jr. play. We were talking before we came on here about how on fire he's been. 16.5 points in this game tonight. I see the Lakers having trouble guarding out on the wing. Porter's going to get some open threes, so I would play him over. He's had 3 30-point games in his last 4.
He had 24 in their first matchup this year against the Lakers.
Well, there you go. And then another play that I like with that, the easy play to me tonight is LeBron over 19.5 points on the Goblin. So he's going to score 20 tonight, I would figure. Again, if you look at that there, I know he's coming off a 40-point game against Portland. Off the All-Star break, typically off the All-Star break, his number the first game, from what I remember from his Heat days, was down a little bit. He has always a lot of commitments, although this year he kind of showed up late, didn't play in the game. But he has been bothered by the ankle, or at least he spoke of that. So that's the reason I wouldn't play the regular number on him, but I do think it's safe to say you could go over 20. Our guy, Austin Dobbins, back on the bus from game now. You can catch his work on 5reasonsports.com. He likes Westbrook assists tonight as well. Any of the other games interest you? Cameron Johnson has been under on his last 5 for the Nets. That was a play that I think going with the trend there makes some sense, but anything else jump out to you guys?
I just feel like the Houston-Utah game might be a blowout. So I was a little unsure how to play that one. And then Charlotte versus Portland, obviously a matchup of 2 pretty bad teams. So it was a little tougher. I mean, I think a lot of us were focused on this Lakers game. But let me see what we got up there for
So I like Embiid under tonight. I'll say that. 26
You always
and a
like
half.
Embiid under.
I know, and it's hit most of the time.
So
I'm going to play
you're wrong.
Going to play him under the 26.5 against Brooklyn. Brooklyn does defend the paint fairly well, so I feel like they'll keep his numbers down. Is Eric frozen? I think Eric is frozen in time.
I'm looking at Anthony Simons.
Okay.
For
Simons for
2.5
Portland. What's
threes.
his number tonight?
2.5 3-pointers made. He's been over in 4 of his last 5. And
Okay.
I think, both these teams will just be chucking it. Not a lot of defense in that game. So I'm going to take that one over Anthony Simons, 2.5 threes for Portland.
Okay. One other one. I was looking at Houston tonight, and I'm with you. I would play unders. I'm for exactly the reason you're talking about. I feel it's not a great matchup for Utah. So I would play the unders in that game. One other one that I was looking at here going forward, LaMelo Ball at 26.5 against a bad Portland defense. I know that the Blazers have played better of late, but this is the kind of game that LaMelo gets his numbers in. So I would go over the 26.5 there tonight. Eric, I think we got you back. Anything else that jumps out at you?
Yes. Yeah, so I actually did have just a couple of numbers here. Just going back to the game between Charlotte and Portland. Denny Avdia, 3 free throws made. He's gone over that number in 9 out of his last 12 games. And obviously he's not a guy. He's a guy that's probably going to be playing a lot of minutes for a bad Portland team. And then I'm looking at Josh Green on the Demon. I think that 1.5 threes is kind of a low number, considering that his season average is about 1.5 threes made per game this year. And if you look at this number, I believe he's gone over it. 2 out of 5, but you see there about 1.5 over his last 5.
Yeah, coming off a big game. Right? So those some of our players. Some of our plays tonight. Again, use the code FIVE. FIVE, put down $5, you get $50 to play. Also, tomorrow Heat play the Bucks, so we'll have something prior to that as that comes up, and maybe we'll do something on Messi this week as well. And TGL, right? We got to tell people you can play the golf league on PrizePicks.
TGL is a lot of fun. If you haven't checked that out,
so check that out. Use the code FIVE. Get your 50. All right, but a lot of the focus again tonight on Nuggets Lakers. So that's the props we'll put up on our Twitter accounts. Again, thanks to Eric, thanks to David. Use the code FIVE.